Hello.
Hello, good evening, good morning, everybody. You are very welcome to join us in this live webinar talking about Barcelona and the opportunities of investment and business Barcelona can offer. My name is Raisa Venermo. I'm one of the co-founders of AvaLanding, a company that assists foreign investors and businesses to land in Spain and to live and work and do business here safely and comfortably. AvaLanding works in different parts of Spain, but today we focus only in Barcelona. Here with me, I have our CEO, Lourdes Santisteban.
Hello.
And we are honored to have as a guest and co-organizer Mr. Xavier Mayo, who is the in-city promotion manager of Barcelona Activa. For those who do not know this wonderful organization, Barcelona Activa is an agency of the City Hall, of the Town Hall of Barcelona, with the objective of supporting growth of companies, innovation and human capital. As we all know, since a few decades ago, Barcelona has been the favorite destination for travel from all over the world. I come from, for example, my own example, I come from Finland. I landed here 20 years ago and the town enchanted me, and I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. AvaLanding has been serving clients from 70 different countries, 70. But there are some things and challenges that are common for all the foreign investors and businesses who come from abroad. We will talk very shortly about a few of these challenges and how to solve them and what are the important points to think about when you come. But before that, I would like to give the word for Xavi and hear the opinion of Barcelona about why Barcelona is the ideal destination for foreign investors and companies to grow. Xavier.
Thank you, Raisa. Thank you, Lourdes. Thank you, AvaLanding, for organizing this online activity. Let me introduce myself. Xavier Mayo. I'm head of international city promotion from Barcelona City Council. As Raisa has explained, we have our strength as a city in part. A main part of it is based in Barcelona Activa. Barcelona Activa is the local development agency of Barcelona City Council. It has been working for more than 30 years in employment, entrepreneurship, business growth, technological training, and social economy policies. In fact, was when no one talked about startups, entrepreneurship, Barcelona Activa created the first incubator in Glorious Square. For the ones that know Barcelona, Glorious is becoming one of the centers of the city of Barcelona. But as I'm telling you, I'm in the city promotion department, which is in itself a city council department, which mission is to do the international economic promotion of Barcelona in order to attract economic activity that creates jobs and generates prosperity in our city. Okay. In order to make a wider context of what we do, let me give some information about the moment that we are living. This crisis we are suffering, the whole globe that is suffering. First thing, the first message I wanted to transmit is that Barcelona shall overcome this crisis of coronavirus the same way that has overcome previous crisis. You need to take into account that more than 40 years ago, when we became a democratic council, we had biggest challenges that the one that we have today with the crisis of a coronavirus and the subsequent economic crisis, and we did it, and we were able to organize Olympic Games, and we were able to have districts in which any person, any citizen was proud for living in Barcelona, because the amount of public services that were available were very high, and we were able to do it jointly, in a joint effort of public and private. And the first and one of the things that I would like to transmit this afternoon is that we are trying to overcome this crisis together with the private sector. And one way of showing this collaboration between the public and the private is this afternoon seminar with AvaLanding. We are a council department, a public department that is collaborating with a private organization like AvaLanding in promoting the city of Barcelona and attracting investment to the city of Barcelona. The challenges that cities are facing are challenges that are shared between all the cities. There is no single city that will have the solution, the vaccine, the way to detect coronavirus cases. All the cities are suffering, and we need to learn from different cities. Challenges are global, and I think that cities like Barcelona, that we have in our DNA collaboration, and cities that are able to share challenges and to share solutions will be more prepared to overcome this crisis. Let me just explain you very briefly how because it's a very personal vision, envision the future of city, or at least the city of Barcelona. With regard to urbanism, I think that we are going to have more polycentric cities. We are not going to have a single center in which all the economic, political, and citizen life is going to be concentrated with a single center. We are going to share different centers. We are going to a city in which the different districts will have, in my perspective, more mixture of uses. Cities or districts in which you would be able to live and work and to have a family, and to have, if you want, or if not, and you're single, you would be able to have the amount of services that need to be served in daily basis would be very near to you, in a walking distance. In my vision, density doesn't need to be a problem. We are, as I presume that you all know Barcelona, but if not, we are a dense city, a compact city, and this is going to be difficult that we change it. We have the feeling that we need to reinterpret density, and we are finding ways in which dense cities like Barcelona can benefit from density in the post-coronavirus crisis. We need to find ways, but mixture of uses, we think it's one of the ways we can benefit from. For sure, we're going to have more sustainable cities with a mobility more based in electric mobility, more in walking, more based in electric car, in motorbikes, with an energy production and consumption more sustainable, with more a mix of energies more sustainable, and we need to do alliances for this with our hinterland, and this is a challenge, of course. We were going to have for sure more teleworking, and maybe there would be some people that they don't need to go to the office 5 days a week, and And well, we'll see. But basically, this is more or less how we envision this. New city for sure will need more investment and a great commitment from public authorities. We were really happy to learn that the European Union is going to support these changes with these new funds that are going to be available in the next months, and those cities and regions and countries that are able to use these funds to change the model, we have the feeling that that will be the ones that will be the ones that are going to be the winners of this crisis in some way or another. There are going to be sectors like software engineer, medtech, smart logistics, e-commerce, industry 4.0, gaming, and clean tech that are the ones that we have the feeling that are the ones that we need to promote and are going to be the game winners. And just to finish, obviously, those cities that are more open to international promotion, to international investment, we have the feeling that are going to be the ones that will be more prepared. We tend to see now societies, economies, and countries that tend to be close, but we have the feeling that the trend needs to be just the opposite. We need to have cities that are open, and we want to be open to international talent, open to international business, open to collaboration with privates, open to collaboration with cities. And this evening's webinar is a perfect example of this. Just explaining that we as a city and the business landing service of Barcelona Activa are open to receive any demand or any inquiry from companies, startups that are willing to land in our city. We have a free of charge service, obviously always respecting the services like AvaLanding companies that are based in our city. We don't have problems in collaboration with them. And that's it. I will give the floor to Raisa because they want to tell as well their vision about the situation and their services. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you enjoy this webinar.
Thank you, Xavier. This is my turn. I will start speaking about some general issues and concepts and things to consider when you have planned to set up a business in Spain in general. And of course, as Xavier mentioned and Raisa mentioned, we are going to concentrate on Barcelona, but I'm going to speak first of all about the importance to structure, to thinking of how you're going to structure a business when you want to set up it in Barcelona. First thing to consider is that, well, there are many factors to have in mind when we are thinking about foreigners setting up a business in Barcelona. First main thing will be, of course, tax implications, because there are several tax regimes around the world, and there are many differences in how it is treated in the different countries. And of course, it's one of the starting of a conversation with a potential client always is how the taxes are going to impact. And it is also very, very important to consider when we are thinking of setting up a company. You have to know that, and it's well known that many countries, and Spain is one of them, of course, they have a double tax treaty between countries, so that it has an impact when you are considering opening an activity here in Spain, and you plan to have, of course, some gains and some dividends on this future activity in Barcelona and Spain. Even though there are many different types of companies in our law system, I would say that the most used one is the limited liability company, which, as the name says, it means that there is a limitation on the liability of the shareholders. This limitation is to the capital, the amount of capital they put on the company. And it will be, once the company is set up, it will be the company will be responsible of its own activity during its lifetime. Things to consider at the very beginning is how you plan, or the shareholder plans to fund the company so that the company can start activity. Of course, we always need money to do things, and there are several ways of funding the company and putting the money into the company. It could be like capital for the company. It's an amount that won't be able to be touched in the future. You can recover that. The company will be able to use that, but you cannot take it out again. Or in, for example, participation loans or loans from the shareholders to the company. So that all that initial considerations about which type of activity we are going to do, which type of company we prefer to use, how we plan to finance the company initially with the funds of the shareholders maybe, and then we are planning to consider asking to the banks for financing. And then, of course, for that, we will need to see the business plan of the clients because it's important to understand from the very beginning which are the plans, which type of activity, which are the future implications if the companies plan to have employees, if they are considering to have employees from abroad, for example, and they need special permits. I wanted to mention that there is no limitation on the origin of the person, of the shareholders, to set up a company in Spain. I mean, anyone from anywhere in the world can be a shareholder of a Spanish company. But another thing to be considered when structuring and planning to set up a business here is, for example, if the shareholders, in case they are individuals, they are planning to come to Barcelona to develop the activity. Because depending on the origin, in this case, for example, there is a big difference if they come from Europe or from outside Europe. It's important to know if they are going to need a permit, a work and residency permit, because this has to be taken into account when planning the process to set up the company. So there are many things to plan. I think it's not just having a good idea, which is of course very welcome to the city, but then it's of course advisable to start planning all the process to success in the activity. Now it's the turn of my colleague, Raisa.
Yes, the second challenge, or apart from tax planning and structuring, I'm sure that every entrepreneur in the whole world, not only Spain, shares the opinion that one of the most challenging things is to find talent and retain it. And that's not just for companies in Spain, but in general. What I wanted to comment regarding that is the fact that in Barcelona, we have a strong pool of international talent already existing. And that's a great advantage for multinationals and international companies, because if they are seeking for young people, highly educated people, international profiles, they find them already in Barcelona. What happened before is that the talent followed the companies. Wherever the companies were set up, the talent had to go there. But the new generation and what is happening lately is that actually the talent goes where it likes to be, where they can enjoy the quality of life, where they can work remotely, and then the companies follow. And this is what has been happening in Barcelona in the tech sector. There are thousands of new tech startups, but also multinationals who have transformed or sent or established part of their businesses in Barcelona because the talent is already here. There are lots of studies, international studies, that show that beyond any doubt, Barcelona is one of the cities in Europe where the employees can enjoy the best quality of life because of the food, the culture, the climate, the sea, the sun, the mountain. You can go skiing quicker than I can do when I live in Helsinki, Finland. Also, there are studies that show that the multinationals who have offices in the big capitals in the Central and Nordic Europe, they would prefer to be transferred to Barcelona, even though with less pay, because the the living costs are lower here, so with less money they can get more. That's one thing. Then, as Lourdes already mentioned, there is a political will, and the government is boosting. There is a fast-track program for those companies who seek for highly qualified professionals and want to import them from abroad. That works specifically well for multinationals and the strategically important sectors, which Xavier already mentioned, that can be new technologies, clean technologies, circular economy. Those people or those companies who want to hire highly qualified people from outside of European Union, that is doable. There is a specific program, immigration program for that. We at AvaLanding, for example, are attending or assisting many IT companies who are hiring even now in these strange times that we are living. They keep on hiring people to code, IT professionals from all around the world to work in their offices in Barcelona. The last thing regarding the talent and immigration, what I wanted to mention is that Spain has got a golden visa program, and normally when we mention golden visa, the connotation or the image that we get is that when you invest in real estate, you get residency and work permit. Okay, that's true. Any investor who invests for €500,000 in Spanish real estate, Barcelona or elsewhere, is eligible for the residency permit. But the golden visa is not only that. The golden visa, the same law, has got a very interesting part that is maybe less known but equally important for entrepreneurial projects in the strategically important sectors. So if you have a startup that is innovative, that uses new technologies, that helps the green, or has got something to do with the green technologies or technology in general, and in some other strategic sectors as well, which are not, unfortunately, very clearly defined, but we would study each and every project. We can obtain for that entrepreneur and his or her family the golden visa, which is the best visa that there is in Spain regarding the rights that are you get the maximum rights and the minimum obligations. And that's very important to keep in mind. So not only for the highly qualified employees who come to work here for a multinational or for a small or medium technology company, but also for the entrepreneurs who bring some new projects to the city. Lourdes, something else, would you like to comment? Some other challenges that the international entrepreneurs face in Barcelona?
Okay. Yes, I also wanted to mention or to speak a little about bureaucracy in Spain, as I'm sure is something that Spain is well known as a bureaucratic country, and it's in part true. Okay, although I have to tell as a good news that Spain is every time more digitalizing many processes. Of course, this crisis has pushed the administration to start transforming or allowing doing many of the processes you need from the administration, tax authorities, social security authorities, even immigration. It's now also possible to apply through digital platforms, but there are still some steps that have to be taken and considered when you plan to set up a business. I mean, for example, there is a NIE number, which is a foreigner's identification code you need to get to be able to do an economic activity like setting up a company. That's one step that can be done. That needs to be done. Also, opening a bank account, for example, for a future company, that's another important step to be taken into account when planning. I want to start an activity in Barcelona. What do I have to do? Okay, welcome to Barcelona, as I was mentioning before, but there is some administrative issues we have to consider at the very beginning. And once we have done them, then will be ready to go to the notary to sign the setting up and to register the company. Okay, I just wanted to mention that is just because it's not like I want to go into a website and register my company. It's not as easy, but it's becoming easier every time. Okay, so that was something I wanted to add to the explanation.
Okay, so as we see, Barcelona offers the framework. The framework for the legal framework and the administrative framework for businesses to come, and we are here welcoming you. This is like if we compare your project to painting a painting. We would offer from the public and private services the frame for your painting so that you can create your artwork and start your life and business in Barcelona. I love being here, and I'm sure that many of you will join us soon. Maybe we can answer now some of the questions that have been published in the chat. There were some questions regarding the 500,000 investment limit. That is per family. So each family, including the main investor plus spouse plus underage children plus children over 18 but that are economically dependent, and parents of the main investor in case they are economically dependent, can all tag along into the investor's visa, the golden visa. Then there was another question also regarding the same.
Raisa, if you don't mind, can I answer a pair of questions which are more general, and then we can go to the specific, if you don't mind? Yeah. Amelia Rodriguez is asking about international welcome of. Yes, let me explain you that we have put in the chat of the webinar some landing pages, both from AvaLanding and Barcelona City Council, that may be of help if you are planning to come to Barcelona. Well, the question of which services are being offered in order to ease the landing of international companies to Barcelona. There is a general, I would say, Lourdes prejudice, sorry, about this, about the amount of bureaucracy that international companies and companies in general need to face in Spain in general and Catalonia and Barcelona as well. I need to say that this, as you were saying, is partially true, but nowadays my feeling is that in general there are a lot of ways of having life easier if you find the right partner in order to land. One of the things I would like to say is that here today we have two partners, one public, another private, that would be the perfect company if you are planning to land in the city of Barcelona. So my recommendation here is that don't make any notice of prejudices and just do the travel accompanied by a good partner. In our case, of course, Barcelona Activa, the business landing service and the city promotion, and now you have AvaLanding. Amelia was talking about Catalan government, and they have a wonderful service as well in order to land in Catalonia, because Catalonia is bigger than Barcelona, and there are many opportunities in the industrial logistics and many other fields. So please choose the right partner in order to land. There was just, I'm going to be very brief. Javier Izquierdo was asking about where this crisis is going to be ended. Just let me explain that we are facing the reality that we have a sanitary crisis, and we are having already an economic crisis, and we are very aware that we will have to live with this crisis for a long time, I think for months. So our first thought is about living with the consequences of both crises, both sanitary and economic crisis, and facing them just joining efforts in both public and private sides. And this is, as I've expressed before, as an example of joining forces all together. So I'm sorry to tell you that we don't know yet when this crisis is going to end. Sure, it will end the day we have a vaccine or a treatment for coronavirus. But we are already facing it with all the efforts and aligning all the resources. And that's it. Sorry, Raisa and Lourdes, if you want to answer some other questions.
Well, there was a question about more information of the type of business. It was if set up and to open the eligibility for residency status. Sorry. Well, I imagine it's referring to the type of immigration speed processes to get a residency and work permit. And it's specifically considered for some type of activities. It's not a number listed, but it's basically thought for attracting entrepreneurs on some special activities like environment, technology, all these attractive new type of companies that the city of Barcelona, of course, is also attracting every time more. So depending on the type of activity, it's the main important thing. Of course, it's going to be considered the business plan you have, the opportunities you're bringing to the country, the possibilities to employ people. All that counts, but also the type of activity. So it's not the type of company, but the type of activity, which has to be considered and studied. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any other questions you would like to answer? One more from F. Masas was that they have already invested past 4 years. And yes, regarding the investments, everything counts that has been invested in September 2013. That's when the investment or Golden Visa law, including both the real estate investments and the entrepreneurial projects, came into force. So that's that. If there are no more questions, I warmly thank Xavier, Lourdes, for your comments. It was wonderful to share this platform with you, and hope to see you soon.
Yeah. Thank you also to Barcelona Activaton for the participation. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Okay.
We cannot hear you. We cannot hear you.
I was saying thank you, AvaLanding. Sorry that there are some questions we are not going to answer, and maybe you AvaLanding can address us these questions, and we can answer them before. And just for your knowledge, that we have introduced in the chat of the webinar some references, both from AvaLanding and from Barcelona Activa and Barcelona City Council. In our case, the international webpage, very useful, and another service of business landing services. Thank you very much again, and hope to overcome this crisis as soon as possible and to meet you in person in the short future. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.